This video is going to talk about the grammar of passive voice. Let's take a look first at an active voice sentence. And what we'll do is we'll take the active voice and transform it. We'll change it to passive voice step by step so you can see each part. First, active voice has a subject, a verb, and an object in that order. In other words, there's a doer, there's an action, and there's a receiver of the action. For example, the students wrote the paper. Now, when we want to start changing this to passive voice, we go step by step. First step is to change the subject and the object. This is a main feature of passive voice, is that the object and the subject are switched. So let's switch these. So now we're thinking to ourselves, okay, the paper wrote the students. Well, that doesn't make sense, and we're well aware that it doesn't make sense. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because this verb is an active verb. It is the kind of verb that is used in an active sentence. What we need to do is take this verb, wrote, and change it to passive voice verb. First thing we do is we take this out. It's the first thing we do. And we add a form of the verb be plus past participle. Okay? Now this verb was wrote, meaning that it's past tense. So we need to choose a past tense form of the verb be, and that is was. Let me move that over. Also, it's not just past tense form of be, it's the singular form. For example, the paper is singular, so was is past tense and singular. Okay, so the paper was. Now we need past participle. This is an abbreviation for past participle. So the past participle, or the third form of the verb write, is written. For example, write, wrote, written. So written is the third form, the past participle. Let's see how we're doing. The paper was written the students. That still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense because we're missing an important grammar, and that is the by prepositional phrase. So we take the word by and we put it in front of the subject. Okay, now I'm going to take the word by, I'm going to put it here. Let's read the sentence. The paper was written by the students. That is a passive voice sentence. We took the object and we put it first. We took the subject and we put it last. So really, if you think about it, the paper is kind of pretending to be the subject, but it's not really the subject in real life. Nothing changes the fact that the students took the action and that they wrote the paper. But when we do passive voice, we change that around and we say that the object is in the first part of the sentence. So the paper was written. We take a form of the verb be, past participle, by, and then what used to be the subject of the sentence, which is now kind of sitting in the object location. So the paper was written by the students. Now what's important to remember is that this verb form of be could be other forms. For example, maybe I want to make it simple present. The paper is written by the students once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Or if I wanted to, I want to make this plural. Let's say it's the papers. Well, then the verb form of be becomes are. The papers are written by the students every day, once a week. So this is for simple present tense. If I wanted to make it past, well then I guess I could, not I guess, I mean I need to put were. The papers were written by the students. If I change this back and I say the paper, and I still need past tense, then I would make it was. The paper was written by the students. Or I can use a little bit of future. How about if I were to say the paper will be written by the students. So this is future tense. The paper will be written by the students. Or if I wanted to change the future and talk about possibility, I could use a modal, and I can say the paper can be written by the students. Or I could say the paper should, need to move these over just a little bit, should be written by the students. The point is that the verb form of be will have different forms. It could be present tense, past tense, future tense. It could have should or can or might. For example, if we look here, we see that all the tenses can be represented in passive voice, from simple present, present continuous, simple past, past continuous, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future, and, for example, possibility and recommendation. Now, what we're going to do quickly is look at some of these that are most likely. For example, simple present tense. Active version says, the students cleaned the beach. The passive form is, the beach is cleaned. We have form of to be with past participle. And then, of course, by the students, the by prepositional phrase, which you've already learned from the overview that this is optional. We can leave this out completely and just say the beach is cleaned every day, once a week, 3 times a week. Don't worry, the beach is cleaned. Now, if we look at simple past, this is another very common type of passive voice. For example, the students cleaned the beach. That's past, and that's active. Passive form would be the beach was cleaned by the students, if we like, but the main thing is that this verb was, this is the past tense singular form of to be. And of course, here's still the participle. Present perfect is also very common. For example, the students have cleaned the beach lately or recently. In other words, present perfect time frame. The students have cleaned the beach recently. If we turn that into passive voice, we say, the beach has been cleaned by the students lately. Or, of course, we can leave by the students out and say, the beach has been cleaned recently. Another real possibility is future tense. The students will clean the beach. Passive voice, the beach will be cleaned by the students, or the beach will be cleaned. That should be yellow because that's part of the verb. The beach will be cleaned. Now, if we talk about possibility, in other words, modality, where we use can and might and should, for example, here's the active form. The students can clean the beach. That's active. Passive, the beach can be cleaned. So the can plus the be. Here it's the same thing. The should plus the be. For example, the beaches should be cleaned, where the active form is the students should clean the beach. I'll provide you with this document so you can look at it closer. But the main point right now is to realize that when we make passive voice, we have various different verb tenses we have to deal with. So when we look at the form here of passive voice and we think about this form of be, this form could be simple past, simple present, simple future. It could be with a modal should and could and can and might. So we have to pay close attention. And we have to get good at recognizing passive voice when we use it so we can make sure that the grammar is correct. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, let me know.